blame him.
Good evening and welcome to our event, Recognizing Past and Present. My name is Susan Ingram and I'm the treasurer on the board for the Pontotoc County Historical and Genealogical Society. Our president is not able to be here tonight because she is out of state, but she wishes y'all welcome and thank you for coming. A couple of things before I forget. I would like to recognize our other board members that are here. Janelle Fleming and Karen Walters, who are sitting over here. And then back in the back, Sarah Engel and Rachel Roller. And somewhere is, yeah, there's Cynthia on the bench, Cynthia Mellon Parson. So thank them for helping us or allowing us to do this. They were gracious enough to let my students, I teach at ECU, take over and plan this event. So my event planning class, if you've seen students around with cameras and all that, they did this. So they did the set, the decorating, they worked hard, and so we're all just thrilled that you're here tonight. Before I get started, Jolene was going to make a couple of announcements for us about an upcoming event that is tied to the Historical Society. She's back there. They're getting more chairs for people, or they're moving chairs for people. Jillian, oh, yeah, she's busy working. Sorry.
I'm Jolene Porter. I'm the director here at Ada Public Library. I want to welcome everyone to this event, and again, thank you to the Historical Society and your class. They've done a phenomenal job pulling this together this afternoon. It's been great to see them working around. I was asked to discuss a couple things. I'm going to take a deep breath because I thought I was at the end.
Well, we can switch it if you like.
No. So the Historical Society, as most of you know, is located over on 14th Street. 16th Street. I don't even know what street it's on. And I've been over there several times. Every time I go by, you drive past it. It's in a residential area. It has limited access because it's operated and managed and opened by volunteers. One of the things we would like to do is at some point in time, if it's feasible, to actually move that to the basement here in the library. Those of you who are not familiar, this is actually a 3-floor building, and the basement is a replica of the first floor. And what we would like to do at some point in time is expand that, have the Historical Society move over, and also expand some of our children's programming space down there. Excuse me, I'm sorry. So what we would like to do, and why we would like to do this, is it would make that material so much more accessible. The library has worked with the Historical Society to kind of put a draft of a proposal or memorandum of understanding together to present to the city and look at this and we've also got architectural floor plan in place. But what it would allow is the Historical Society would come here. We would catalog it, the library, with hopefully some help from the Historical Society as they're available. And that would make everything accessible internationally, basically, definitely nationally, to see what materials we have. That would allow people to go online and actually contact us, and we could look up materials, scan them, and email them to people. We could have people come in outside of the hours that the Historical Society is open, because we could have staff come down and unlock the space for them. We could have people set up and schedule times to come in where they would have assistance. And we'd also have a space where if a group wanted to come in and do research, we would have extended hours, because that would allow us basically from 9 to 7, Monday through Friday, 9 to 1 on Saturday, be able to work with people to have accessibility. And so that's one of the reasons we would like to do that. We really want this. This collection, if you haven't seen it, is just phenomenal. And making it both cataloged and some of the items that are digitized will just improve the access and the quality of the collection. And there was one other thing. On another note, you will see that there are pictures around the room that have to do with Ada. Later this year, in December and January, we are going to have a traveling exhibit from the Holocaust Memorial Museum in DC. It is Americans in the Holocaust. And our East Central partners are putting together a exhibit of what is happening in Ada at this time. So that's going to be a very interesting collaboration. We will have book discussions, movie and book discussions. We will have Alan Gratz is going to be coming. If anybody knows who Alan Gratz is, he's a juvenile historical fiction author. We are going to do a community read of his book, Prisoner B 3087. I always have to think of those numbers. And it is about a young man who was in the Holocaust. And we're actually have got funding at this point to be able to pass out over 1,200 books to the kids in our community to read that. And then with the literacy, or excuse me, the library board, not library board, Ada Library Friends is going to offer a stipend to schools to help get those kids here to see the exhibit and also to go visit with that author in the fall. So we have a lot of exciting stuff coming along about the history of Ada and the history of the United States, and where we very surprised at what we knew and we didn't know, and what information was known and not passed along during World War II. Not to mention, I mean, you can't sit down and send an email. It took days to get something to somebody through a cable. So, anyways, I welcome everybody here. I am so glad you're here invested into the Historical Society and the history of Ada. If you ever have any questions, give us a call. We'll be glad to help you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jillian. So I'll start really quickly with what led us here tonight. A lot of you have seen and been passing around the white binders, the books that have histories about the families we're recognizing and certain individuals in Ada. That's what started this, and I won't point her out because she'll shoot daggers at me, but Janelle Fleming, who is on our board, she put all these books together and did all the research. She loves to do it. She does an excellent job. So I'd like to thank her for that. And then from that, the other person we have to thank and or possibly blame for us being here is the late Billy Floyd. When she saw the books that Janelle had done, Billy had the idea, even though she was an honorary member of the Historical Society, she wasn't active anymore, she had the idea that we should take it a step further and let's do something with all this information that Janelle has researched and collected. And so that's what brings us here tonight. And I have to say, the week before Billy died, I actually was on the phone with her. She was a mentor to me, and I needed a sounding board as we were planning this event. And she listened to me and gave me some good advice. And one thing I didn't tell her at the time, because I knew she would not be happy with me, is that we were going to surprise her by honoring her as well for all she's done to preserve Ada's history. I was going to wait and tell her till closer to time, and of course, unfortunately, I didn't get that chance. But I'm so honored to still be able to recognize her. So, as you all know, Billy really, she recently passed away at 95 years old. She, in large part, what we know about Ada's history, I think, is because of Billy and her efforts. She loves history so much, she created a second organization called Preserving Area Stories in Time. And so for several years, they called them the group PAST. They wrote plays about historical events and performed them. They were trying to raise funds to start a museum. But also one of the things that I think the most tangible things that we see that Billy was in charge of and got for us was the Little Red Schoolhouse and the Camel Cabin at Wintersmith Park. She was also head of the Centennial Celebration for Ada. I could go on and on and on, but we felt like we had to just recognize her service, not to the community and to the history of Ada. Lost my thought there. So when we were trying to come up with the name for this award, because it's something we might like to give again in the future, it dawned on me like it should just be called the Billy Floyd Award. So we're naming the award the Billy Floyd Award, and I'm so happy to present it tonight to Billy's family, her daughters, and I know she's got several family members here. Whoever would like to come up and accept the award, you're free to speak if you want. If you don't want to, that's fine. But either way, we're going to get afterwards. Thank you. Hey, Jesse. Come over this way, please, and get your photo with your award. And if your other family members want to get in it, that's fine too. Yeah, just watch the tripods. I will also add, if anyone wants to do bigger group photos afterwards, we can do that. And we also have a fun photo booth with props back in the back. So, okay. The first family award I would like to introduce is the P.A. Norris family. They've been in Ada roughly for 113 years. Norris was an active member of the early Ada community, building his family home here in 1912. He was the owner of the Chickasaw Cotton Wool Company, the founder of First National Bank, which is now Vision Bank, and a farmer, to name just a few of his business endeavors. We also owe him thanks for helping to establish Valley View Hospital, which is now Mercy, Wintersmith Park, Oak Hills Golf and Country Club, the ECU athletic fields, and we also have him to thank that we have water from Burrs Mill Springs. He wasn't alone in getting these things for Ada, but he played a major role in securing all of that for us, and we all still enjoy it today. Several descendants of P.A. Norris and Josephine Sparks Norris have lived in Ada, operating businesses and contributing to the local community through civic involvement in philanthropic projects. There are several members of his family here today to accept the award. So it's my honor to recognize the descendants of P.A. Norris and all their family contributions with the 25,000 Club.
Okay. Come on.
And again, you guys are welcome to say something if you want, but you do not have to. You do, and that's good. We do have a group photo here. It's back there. He's coming. Give me in the middle.
Where's Amy?
Right here.
Yeah, go over there.
Thank you. Thank you.
I forgot to mention or add in my notes how we came up with the name for the family awards, the 25,000 Club Award. I'm sure a lot of you are aware that in the early days of Ada, there was the 25,000 Club. A group of citizens came together to create that club. And their goal was to make Ada a better place They're responsible for ECU being here and the cement company. That's just a couple of the main things. But their goal is also to have 25,000 citizens, a population in Ada, which is kind of funny because we still haven't reached that. But I can applaud their ambition. And it eventually became known as the Ada Area Chamber of Commerce. And so we decided that was the perfect name for the award to honor these families, because both the ancestors and the families that are still here today honor that spirit of those founding people of the 25,000 Club. So we should have started with that, I'm sorry. The next family we'd like to recognize, they've been in Ada for roughly 110 years. On January 14th, 1915, the Ada News published that T.B. Blake and his wife Agnes Craddock Blake moved here from Columbus, Mississippi after purchasing the Ada Coca-Cola bottling plant. And so began the start of a multi-generational family business. The Blake's daughter, Madeline, was born and raised in Ada and eventually married Frank Crabtree Sr. The couple's children and grandchildren still own and operate the Ada Coca-Cola bottling company today. Both of the Blakes were active in local community and were members of several civic organizations. The Blakes instilled the spirit of service and giving back to the community in their children and grandchildren. Today, the Ada Coca-Cola Bottling Company actively donates to over 20 local charities and nonprofits. Here today to accept the 25,000 Club Award is several members of the family. And so whoever would like to come up and accept that.
Darling, get first place. Here we go. Here
I'd
they
like to
come.
thank the Genealogical Society for putting this on. It's great to have a lot of you here because a lot of you I've known a long time. Gary Haney has been a friend a long time, and I hadn't seen him in a while, and he came up to me and said, do you know who I am? Stuttered like that? But on a positive note, I know my grandfather and my dad and all past family would be here to say thank you for recognizing what accomplishments that our family and the company has done for the community today. I know they didn't get into business and do what they did for an award. They did it because of what they felt they needed to do, because they love the community, love the people, and we're fortunate, like Denver and his family, Bill and Celeste and Trig and all the ones that are of the Norris clan, and their offspring. So, and they got a big group here too, so I'm jealous. But anyway, enough said. But thanks to all of you for being here, and we will cherish this
That's right.
for a long, long time.
The next family we'd like to recognize is the Criswell family. They've been in Ada for about 109 years.
The shortest one?
So the Criswell family has been in Ada for around 109 years. They moved here, J.U. and Carrie Criswell moved to Ada in 1916. He came here to work at the local funeral home. Then in 1919, J.U. purchased the business and began Criswell Funeral Home. In 1928, Criswell built and opened a beautiful facility at 12th Street that included a chapel. Soon after, J.U. began the Ada Burial Association and eventually became the president of the State Funeral Directors Association. Locally, Criswell served as the director of the Ada Chamber of Commerce for several years. An interesting fact is that Ms. Criswell also worked at the funeral home, or at least that's going by the ads I saw in the Ada paper. The business was passed on to J.U. and Carrie's son, James Harold Criswell. It is now operated by the third generation, Tom Criswell. Criswell Funeral Home is a staple of the Ada community and has been a comfort to thousands of local residents for 109 years. It's an honor to present Mr. Criswell and the Criswell family with the 25,000 Club Award. That's okay, you can be first.
Where's Jared?
You guys are welcome to speak if you want, but you don't.
Man, a few words.
I'm not quite 109.
Close, so right.
Tom. Oh, Tommy, you got to have your picture made, sorry. I said, Lisa, how are you doing? And she went, Lisa, change.
Last but certainly not least, I want to recognize the Katz family. They have been in Ada for 99 years. The Katz family, they began their store here when brothers Ben and Sidney Katz came to Ada in 1926 and established the Katz department store. The brothers and their wives, Laylee and Sadie, quickly became an integral part of both the business and the social community, including some activities including hosting parties for their employees and joining in fundraising efforts for the Red Cross and the community chest. Katz department store was handed down to Ben's sons, Alfred and Henry. They too are known for their kindness toward others and community involvement. At one point, Henry served as the president of the Retail Merchants Association and is responsible for the fact that we have parking lots in downtown Ada. He was telling me tonight, he can still tell you who had the property and that whole story. So we're grateful for that, that we have parking. Alfred and Henry Katz closed the department store in 2004 when they retired. But for 78 years, it was a staple of the Ada community and was known for its quality merchandise and excellent customer service. I just want to add really quick, like Billy Floyd, I've had the pleasure to get to know Henry Katz. Myself and Sarah Engel, who's also a professor at ECU, we're the ones working on the World War II in the community project. And Henry's been such a valuable resource and so giving of his time and letting us film him for hours telling his stories. So I can't thank him enough personally for that. And so I'm extremely honored to present Mr. Henry Katz with the 25,000 Club Award, and I know he has some family here.
There you're on. There you go.
Thank you very much, Susan.
You're welcome.
I happen to be, I've made nearly all those 99 years myself. You can. Well, I should say I've got my family here with me.
Yes.
My nephew Ronnie and two of my daughters.
I'll also add his daughter. His daughters came in from out of town. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, way out of town.
Way out there, yeah.
And the other one is watching on the live stream, so.
Yeah, the other was upset she couldn't be here. It doesn't matter.
We need to come in, you need to go this way. Can you go over there?
Oh, okay. All right.
Do we need to go over more? Just a little bit. There, we got it.
I don't wanna get in front of it.
Perfect.
Good. Stop by, I'll sign it.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to finish with, I guess, another shameless plug for mine and Sarah's project, Day to Rewind World War II history. Anybody, we're always open for tips. If anybody has information on people to talk to about World War II and Ada, or artifacts they'd like photographed, please see either one of us, because we'd love to talk to you. We're both we feel strongly about preserving Ada's history, and we're very excited about the upcoming exhibit in December. So, thank you everybody for being here tonight. We're just so happy to celebrate with all of you, and look forward to seeing you out and about in the community. So, thank you.